Do you want love, you lonely fuck? Are you tired of waking up every single morning and feeling like, damn, I could have been laying awake with someone next to me, being able to romanticize that moment? Or I could have been spending time doing what I want, doing what I like doing, knowing I'm sharing it with someone, whatever the case may be. Are you that person that's always thinking about how it could have been? Well, then I got bad news for you, and I need you to accept this harsh truth so that you can actually get to living in that reality instead of always living in this stagnance. So let's start. So, you lonely fuck, you that wants love, right? Do you want to keep on wanting love for the rest of your life? Yes or no? I'm sure the answer is no, right? So, not only does needing nothing attract everything, but if you constantly want love, you're not going to align with having love. And the only way for you to align with having love is through being love. So, I know it sounds cliche, I know it sounds like some fucking super pseudoscientist nonsense, but it's the truth, okay? So, I'm trying to make this point, okay? Wanting love is not going to get you love. So why are you wanting love? You are constantly practicing things that will not let you align with that. Meanwhile, you could have been practicing being love, giving yourself love to the point where you don't even seek for it anymore, overflowing with love within yourself. Needing nothing attracts everything, yes, but you guys look at self-love as if it's something boring that can be skipped. No, it's not. If your foundation with yourself isn't right, everything you build outwards and externally with anything or anyone else will always end up breaking or finding a breaking point. And that's just one of the harsh truths that you need to accept, okay? So this is also something I kind of learned in my past, relationship or whatever. And for you guys who would want to look at this as your cue to find something to talk about, you might as well leave, because there's nothing juicy that's going to be said, because there's nothing like that to be said. The only thing I'm saying is documenting my growth, okay? And that's the only thing I will say, because I'm speaking for myself. And yeah, in the past, the way I learned this was, if you are in a mindset, or if you even think that you want to go down a relationship path, if you think that you want to pursue a love with someone, you cannot do that if you are not practicing perpetual growth. Because if you aren't doing that, just remember that if you want to grow in love with someone else, right, that you need to be prepared to love beyond certain thresholds, because love will push you to grow. So what I did not know back then was that for me, like receiving love, receiving the external things, that was always my goal. And if you know me, or if you knew me back then, you knew how much I prioritized receiving love, how much I made those things my goals, right? So as soon as I received it, I kind of laid back a bit, and I thought, okay, all this hard work I've done, it paid off, and now I can just relax. But that was not the case, okay? So when that happened, when I kind of took my foot off the pedal when it came to perpetual growth, that is when a speed bump or a bump in the road hit me, and I was not ready to face it, because for one, I took my foot off the gas, and secondly, this bump in the road was actually a bigger test than any other test I've gotten before I got what I wanted. And that's when I realized that the greatest tests come once you got what you want. So there's no reason for you to step back, there's no reason for you to take the foot off the gas, okay? So this is what I want to say. My specific threshold, my specific limit was me not knowing who I was if a parental figure as to either disapprove of me, whatever the case may be. And me mentioning this is nothing personal, it's just my own blockage that I had within myself. And regardless of whatever, regardless if the script was completely different and the cast in the script was completely different, this disconnect was still existing in me, which means that whatever way it happened and whoever it happened with, it would have still ended out the same way, because I had the same blockage within myself. And that is something I needed to work on alleviating. I needed to work on loving it to the point where it dissolves, and that's not something that I knew about back then. So back then, I reached this limit, I reached this threshold, I reached this point where I did not know who I was if I have to walk further. And me at that time, I did not know what it was that made me feel this way. So I tried to look for reasons to make me feel this way. And I can admit I was wrong in whatever reason I found. I'm quite sure I was wrong. And yeah, as time went on, I still didn't know what it was. But as soon as I tried to set foot on pursuing a journey other than just love, more than like purpose and things like that, I realized I fell short in the exact same aspects. And it was by not knowing who I was if a parental figure disapproves of me, not knowing who I was if a parental figure stands in my way, right? And that's because I simply just didn't have a strong identity, and my identity was still based on the authority of parental figures. So I thought, if a parental figure says no, my identity gets limited right there, and I won't ever expand my identity beyond that because there's already a no there. You get what I mean? Because there's already a reason for me not to go down that path. And I would always stay within the confines of this. And this is the way I grew up. So I needed to learn that, becoming my own individual, I need to choose for myself what and where I have to expand. And I need to choose what beliefs and what definitions I live by in my world. Because once I become my own individual, I have my own little world in that sense. And I need to cultivate what I wish to cultivate within it. I need to explore what I wish to explore within it. And that's something that needs to be respected. And the only way it gets respected is if you show that you respect your path, your purpose, and your journey, and your individualism. And until then, it will not be respected until you show that you respect it. Your self-treatment shows how the world should treat you. So if you are someone that is still waiting for love, that's still seeking love, and you are constantly putting yourself in this space where you're listening to sad songs, telling yourself that you can romanticize this state of needing love and wanting love, and you are romanticizing it in different ways, like telling people about it, like, how can I say, you're ranting about needing love and wanting love and why you can't have it and all those things, trying to come up with beliefs and reasons why. You are always going to stay in that point of stagnance, and you are always going to stay in this realm that you are in perfect alignment with it, until you learn how to coexist within this resistance you feel, and till you learn how to love yourself beyond this resistance to the point where you stop resisting it. And once you can do this for yourself, you can finally expand to the point where you do not even need love anymore, because the only way that you get past this resistance is through loving yourself past it. So once you've loved yourself past this resistance, and you no longer need love or want love, you already become 10 times more magnetic. And that's why people in relationships tend to attract more people when they do not even want to attract other people outside the relationship, is because they no longer need love, and that aura is strong. Everybody can feel it. Everybody knows about this. Everyone can feel it. So look at your practices. Do you always want to need love? Do you always want to want love? Do you always want to post about how you don't have love and why you can't have love? Do you always want to have reasons as to why you can't have love? And then you assign these beliefs to yourself, saying you're not worthy of it, you're too much of a caring person, you're too much of a loving person to have love, whatever the case may be, whatever your definition is as to why you don't have it. And this is why you justify your existence, right? Do you want to keep living in this realm, yes or no? Or do you actually want to have what you want? Then you need to be what you want, and you actually have to embody that love and practice it onto yourself. And that's just the harsh truth. Self-love is not boring. Self-love is not cliche. Self-love is a prime priority. And until you practice self-love, you can't experience any love that will be better than that. You will only experience love to the extent in which you've loved yourself. You will never experience a love deeper than how deeply you've loved yourself. So you need to set the standard for yourself. You need to love yourself beyond certain thresholds, beyond certain limits where you feel like you can't walk past it. And you need to learn and discover who the fuck you are beyond those limits. Because guess what? Once you reach this limit and you think you can cling on to who you once were, you already corrupted who you once were. And you can't cling onto it anymore, because now you are repulsing that part of your way. And the more you cling onto it, the more you will realize that you are no longer that person, right? But the truth is, you're actually whole. You are that person, and you're also the person that you aren't aware of on the other side. You are whole, right? But the moment you attach yourself to something, you repulse it. You corrupt the virtue within it. So once you feel like you don't know where to go anymore, to either cling onto the past or to pursue the unknown future. It's always to pursue the unknown future and expand in your presence. Because once you start clinging and once you start attaching yourself, you are corrupting the virtue within the things that were once virtuous, and you are doing yourself a disservice. So, damn these flies. So the moment you allow yourself to grow beyond your limiters, grow beyond your thresholds, you will magnetize your aura 100 times more, to the point where you can attract exactly what you want without even needing it anymore. And the truth is, once you become the person that you need to be, and once you embody everything that you seek, you will not want these things in your life externally. And that's also another point where people sabotage love, because they realize they don't want it anymore. Oh, once I love myself, now the people want to come in, now they want to come and love me. That's how it's supposed to be. You are the beacon. Once you become the beacon, you attract exactly what it is you embody. That's just the truth. You attract what you are. So once you have mindfully become exactly what you wanted to embody, do not be surprised when shit of the same essence, when shit of the same wavelength comes your way. That's how it works. That's just one of the mechanisms of this world, of this universe. So once you set the standard, once you set the mark, once you become the beacon, it is normal for things to come in that is on the same wavelength. So be love. Stop seeking love. Be love. Okay? Until you can do this, you will never have it. Until you can do this, you will never deserve it. Because there's no way that this world will serve understanding on a fucking silver platter for you when you have not done the shadow work. And let me just clear up this misconception. No amount of knowledge that you have consumed and gained on the self-help journey will ever excuse you from getting your hands dirty when you do shadow work. And for you guys who think shadow work is something crazy because of the name, shadow work is nothing but loving yourself beyond certain limits, loving yourself when it gets ugly, loving yourself when it's not convenient to do so, and allowing yourself to release the emotions that is tied to parts of yourself that you truly want to experience. So no amount of knowledge, you can't just go, right? If you, for instance, say, I need love, I want love, I'm seeking love, and I'm tired of not having love, and I'm fed up, and I'm tired of feeling like second choice, I'm tired of feeling like a liability, whatever the case may be. When you have learned on the self-help journey that no, you should not seek love, you should practice love unto yourself, and whatever the case may be, that does not mean you can remain avoidant to what you are currently experiencing. Do not use what you've learned as a reason to be avoidant, because then you will stop yourself from going through the process. Stop being avoidant. When you feel these feelings and when you experience this experience that you do not intend to experience, do not try and attack it, do not try and resist it, do not try and fight with it to the point where you get a better experience. No, let it pass through, allow it to be felt by you so that you can release it and love it, so that you can love it and release it. And once you do this, you can actually move beyond that point. But if you practice avoidance, it will keep on coming back over and over and over again until you find another way to avoid it. So stop practicing avoidance, stop practicing a sense of escapism, and actually love yourself beyond certain thresholds. Expand in your presence and magnetize your aura, and I promise you, you will get exactly what you want. But newsflash, you won't want it anymore. So at that point is when the real test starts. When you become exactly who you seek to be, you will attract everything, because needing nothing attracts everything. But that's when your responsibility comes in to repulse what you do not seek and to attract what you do seek. And that is when you realize that there are levels to this shit, and you can't just live this life passively. So with that being said, hold yourself accountable and practice exactly what you want to practice in this world. Be what you seek. That's all.